Back here, Radio Row, Super Bowl 50 between the Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos. And now joining us from Sirius Mad Dog Radio, of course, is Christopher Mad Dog Russo. Doggy, how are you?
Zach, how are you, pal? Things good? What do you have today?
I'm doing great. First thing is we have to get to Bruce Springsteen. Did you go to any of the concerts?
No, I'm going to Hartford
wow.
on the 10th, but I have not seen him yet. I know the one show at the Garden. I didn't go last Wednesday. I've been following the playlists. I love Meet Me in the City. What a great song that is.
It's a good
oh,
open,
my God.
too.
Oh, it's a great open. And, you get those 6 or 7 songs there after the River's Up where you can figure out where he's going to play. I don't know how you can go wrong, though, with the encore set. I love Dancing in the Dark. Your father never did. But to go from Badlands to Dancing in the Dark to Born to Run to Rosalita to Shout. I don't know how that possible. I would maybe not do Shout, but I'm not sure how you could do any better than those 5 or 6 songs.
I would throw Shout in there somewhere because he seems like he likes to do it, but I wouldn't end with it. For example, I would just end with Rosalita and then everyone goes home happy.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's fair. I would not mind hearing If I Fall Behind there, which he used to play. I would not mind hearing that song he did about the Irish. What was that called?
American Land.
American Land. I wouldn't mind that in that situation. I'm not in love with Shout there, but I'll live with it because, Bruce right now can do no wrong. He's 66 years of age. He's giving you 34 songs a night. The River is underrated. It's a very underrated album because it's sort of overwhelmed by Born in the USA and the 2 or 3 prior to that. So he can do what he wants to do. Bob, have you seen him yet? No, Bob hasn't seen him yet.
No,
either,
he's too cheap. He won't go out there and pay the money for the ticket. I'm trying to go to the show in Philly. I go, you want to come with me? I just got a scholarship, got some money from it. And he goes, you're not wasting that scholarship money on a Springsteen ticket. I go, come on, it would be a great father-son moment.
Here's your father who saw Springsteen at the Bottom Line in 1975 as a 13-year-old.
Tie off.
So, yeah, so there's a guy that should appreciate the fact you want to see Bruce. Go ahead.
Also, with whole Springsteen thing, the show in Philly, I'd have to imagine you have some ties with East Street Radio. Maybe you get me a ticket so it doesn't have to cost me that much.
East Street, you know what? It's very difficult to get the tickets to
Even
East
for
Street.
you, a big celebrity
absolutely.
like you?
I can get them maybe through Niels Lofgren. I can get them through my agent. Maybe Barbara Carr, who lives in my hometown. There's places I can go. East Street Radio never has any tickets.
Wow.
Strangest thing you ever see.
Christopher Mad Dog Russo's here with us. Take me back to the first time you and Mike came here and did a show at the Super Bowl, because now you look around and there's hundreds and hundreds of stations. It wasn't like that back in the day.
You should go to your father, who used to go with, I think yours was the year before, wasn't it? Was that your first one? Cincinnati? Oh, San Diego. Who was in that? I know you did this. Doug Williams. So his first one was San Diego, your dad, who did the Denver-Washington Super Bowl in 87 or 8. And then the 87 season. And then, of course, he did the next one, Cincinnati and San Francisco. So he has 2 ahead of me. So your dad was with us when we went down to, were you born yet? You weren't even born yet.
No, I'm only 21.
Your sister was, who was just born. About a month beforehand, where your sister was born. We did it in the lobby of the Hyatt Regency Hotel in New Orleans. I remember Eddie Andelman there, and I also remember getting a lot of people who walked in the lobby to come on. I remember one time Don Shula was in the lobby, and he came on. Don Shula now, yeah, geez. He walked in the lobby, and I think Warren Moon walked in the lobby and came on. I remember 2 or 3 of those. Nick Bonicani walked in the lobby and came on. So it was obviously there was nobody here. Much more loosey-goosey. We had the local station. I remember Eddie Andelman. I do remember him there. And, of course, Mike and me. But, again, in a lobby, and away we go. The first time that I remember where it became a huge production, and it wasn't that big, but there was a group of stations, was Pasadena in 93. That's the first time I remember it.
You're a San Francisco guru. Give me a good place to eat tonight.
I don't know it as well as I used to, where I know all these restaurants. Obviously, you can't go wrong here. Chinese food is phenomenal. There's plenty of Italian restaurants. I went to a place the other night called Terzo up on Steiner Street and Union. That was very good. I'm taking the Mad Dog people out to Credo tonight with a Giants recommended an Italian restaurant. So I don't know as many of those restaurants as there were. So this is an interesting town because there's a restaurant right across the street. Everywhere you go, there's a great Italian restaurant or a Chinese restaurant. Plenty of food here, Zach. You can't go wrong.
When you left FAN, would you ever be able to imagine in your wildest dreams, after the whole one-time ran and all that stuff, that the Giants would have had 3 championships
No, I
ever
definitely
since?
not. I mean, that's the one thing I miss. I can't go on FAN and kill my old partner about San Francisco Giant baseball because I had the 3 titles. And, funny, it doesn't mean as much to me as it used to. It was the chase for me. I win the first one, phenomenal. Win the second one
You're
against
spoiled
the Reds.
now.
And now it's like, you know what?
You sound like a brat now.
What am I going to do? Am I going to jump off a bridge if the Giants lose, which I used to do when the Giants ended up losing? Now I can't do that because they won the 3 championships.
With the Cam Newton, let's get to some guys playing in the game now for Super Bowl 50s. We're talking to Mad Dog, Christopher Russo. Are you tired with the whole race stuff?
I haven't paid too much attention to it. I have not been to media day. Cam's a very good guy.
He is.
Because he's represented by IMG, so they tell me all the time what a good guy is. He came out last week and he put that into the equation. He probably shouldn't have done that. I'm going to let it go. I am tired of it, number one. I'm not going to pay too much attention to it, number two. And I'm going to give him a little break on it. He's a young player, big stage. I'll give him a little break on it and not dwell on it from his standpoint. I'm not going to pay too much attention to it.
And they've been extremely hot to start games in these playoffs.
Oh, they will. That's a big factor in this game.
How does Denver stay in the game early and prevent that run from Carolina?
I think that's the thing that would worry me about Carolina in the game is that Carolina's had an easy run throughout, 15-1, never threatened in the division. They buried Seattle. Yes, I know there was a fourth quarter comeback, or second half, but they buried Seattle. No problem with Arizona. Denver's had some stuff they've had to recover from. Quarterback losses, Pittsburgh. They've had some resiliency they've had to show. And so as a result, when they get hit in the mouth, I think Denver is going to respond. Almost lost to New England. Fumbled against Pittsburgh. They could have lost that game when they recovered, when Tucson fumbled. They have done a better job there of dealing with some negatives. Carolina's had no negatives to deal with, so I wonder if Carolina has a couple, how are they going to respond to that? So as a result, I could see taking Denver in this game. I just had David Deal on. He loved Denver because he says 2 years ago that loss sticks in their craw so much, 43-8 to Seattle, that won't happen again.
Also, though, when you take a look at the whole situation now with the Carolina Panthers, they did lose that game to the Saints. I remember when I was seeing my Patriot team in that 2007 run, they weren't playing their best football in the AFC
they got a little
Championship
stale. They got a little stale.
Was losing then necessarily good for the Carolina Panthers to just get that distraction?
I think
out of the way?
Yes, I think they're better off. You're right. Pats got stale that year. They didn't play well against San Diego in the championship game. They didn't have a great postseason. The Giants scared them in Week 17. Pats got stale. I don't know if I can say Carolina got stale. They played well against the Cardinals. They were up 31-0 against Seattle. I don't know if they got stale. I'm just not that impressed with the Carolina resume. The division stinks. They played the AFC South. That's the worst division in football. Houston, Indianapolis, Tennessee, and Jacksonville. They played the NFC East. That division's horrendous. Giants, Cowboys, Dallas. And they beat a Seattle team that I thought was going to be very good. That fella had a bad first half, and Carson Palmer stunk. So I don't know. I mean, Denver beat Brady. Denver beat Gronkowski. Denver beat Pittsburgh that was flying with Roethlisberger. I like what Denver has done a little better than Carolina, so maybe I take the 6 points and take Denver.
Why do you think everyone missed out on Carolina this year? Why did no one have them going this far, even in the playoffs?
You know what? They shouldn't have, because they finished the season last year wonderfully. Winning the division, winning 4 or 5 games in a row to win the AFC or the NFC South. When they were dead, they finished 7-8-1. They were, 3-8-1, and they finished winning their last 4 or 5 games. So from that standpoint, that's a good point. I don't know why people didn't have Carolina. I like Carolina. You know why? I think part of it is losing the receiver. They lost Benjamin right away in training camp. I think that scared people off. I was going to take them as an over, but I was worried once they lost Benjamin, and I should have done that, and I didn't. But you're right. People kind of wrote them off a little bit. They've had a wonderful year. They'll be good this week, and maybe a lot of people think they're like Seattle. This is going to be a blowout game. They are much bigger than Denver physically. Their offensive line is much bigger than Denver's defensive line. I've heard that forever. So maybe they blow them out. Be an interesting game.
Manning doesn't want to talk about the whole retirement aspect. He doesn't really want to get his teammates distracted from anything. This has to be his final game, right?
I would think it would be. I would think it would be. I'd be shocked if there's no reason to come back, win or lose. I think he'll play the game properly with what he has to do. He won't try to do too much. If this game gets into a situation where Manning's got to make a lot of plays, then he's going to be in some trouble. He's not going to be able to do that. He'll have a drive or two. He'll have a throw or two. But if he has to do this, sustain it, you'd have trouble if you're Denver. I would be very surprised if Manning comes back here and plays in 2016.
Montana, Brady at the top for me. If Manning wins this game, does he get on that same level because that's been his major flaw, has been the postseason.
I think that even if he doesn't play great, I think for the average American fan, he'll get on that level. Finishing up 2-2, Elway lost a lot of Super Bowls before he won his second, so I think the average fan will view it that way. I'm not sure if I will. Because I still think Manning's postseason's been flawed, but I think the average fan will put Manning. He's won 3 out of 4 against Brady. He got his second Super Bowl. I don't think he'll be Montana Brady, but I think the average fan will put him 3. I wouldn't. The average fan will.
How much do you think him and Elway talk about the end? Because Elway obviously went out on top.
I think they will. I don't think they do it right now. I think they will talk about it. After Sunday night. I don't think they do right now, Zach. I think Elway has given him his space. Don't forget, he cut his salary last year by an awful lot. Manning's very prideful. That probably bothered him. I do not think that they have had that discussion right now.
Wrapping up with Christopher Mad Dog Russo, give me your biggest key, though, if Denver wants to win this game. Because I would say the majority are picking Carolina.
Get a lead. Play the game on their terms. Do not fall behind. Don't fall behind by more than a couple of possessions. Be able to run the ball. Keep Cam under control, which means don't let him run the ball like crazy. Hopefully Wade Davis is better than Mike Shula. But get a lead is important to me. Denver got a lead against New England. Denver was in shouting distance with Pittsburgh. I think that Denver must play with a lead on Sunday afternoon.
As we're in Philadelphia, Sam Bradford, should the Eagles bring him back?
Yeah, I think they should. Where are you going to get a quarterback?
That's a problem. Not this draft. I don't think so.
Well, there's no
I don't like Paxton Lynch. I've seen him play too many times, so I haven't been impressed.
Where you getting a QB? The idea that you get 9 million quarterbacks is absurd. Where are you going to go get a quarterback? Bradford, is he great? No. But I think he should return.
Do you have a problem, though, the way Lurie has handled this whole thing, just with so much blind loyalty to Howie Roseman?
I haven't thought about it that much, to be honest with you. I know he had loyalty to Reed. He had loyalty to Kelly. He brings Peterson in. Peterson's offensive play calling was not stupendous for the Chiefs. I have not thought about the loyalty aspect for Lurie as I would say for another owner. I was surprised he fired Chip. That surprised everybody. But I haven't thought about Roseman's thing back as the executive. I haven't thought about that for a long time. I haven't really given that much thought, to be honest with you.
A lot of people have been complaining on our show, and I'm one of them. I don't like the way they went about the coaching search. They didn't even interview a defensive-minded coach. They should have went after Sean McDermott, at least give him an interview.
Could have done that.
And that didn't happen. So with Peterson, how can people get excited about Doug Peterson? Because right now in Philadelphia, a lot of people aren't.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, I can understand that. He doesn't, because you're bringing an Andy Reid guy in, and I just lost Andy, and I didn't like Andy Reid after 13 years.
And it's not really more that people hate Doug Peterson. It's really just the way they went about the search that they don't like.
Really? The fact that they didn't bring in a defensive
agitates a lot of people.
Interesting. Now, anything agitates the Eagle fan. You got to keep that in mind. They can bring in Lombardi, and they have a problem with it. So you got to keep that in mind.
But they're still intelligent, and they know when the BS meter is there and saying, oh, well, we reached out to you, Jackson. Well, you reached out to him, and he's already signing with the Browns.
He wasn't coming here anyway. Jackson was going to go to Cleveland. I don't think Jackson was coming to. He didn't go to the Giants.
Sure.
If he didn't go interview with the Giants.
Who would go to Cleveland, too? I just don't get that.
I think the challenge of it, he knows the team in the division. I think he's got a lot of more power than he would have at Philadelphia or New York. But I don't think they were getting Hugh Jackson. So I don't think Hugh Jackson was coming here. If he blew off the Giants, he's going to blow off the Eagles. Because the Eagle job is not as good as the Giant job. It's not as big a market. They don't have Eli. The ownership's better. The Eagle job is not on that level. So if he's not going to go to the Eagles, he's not going to the Giants. But I haven't thought about how Lurie went about it. If you're telling me McDermott should have been interviewed.
At least interviewed.
I could buy that
for all those years.
I could buy that.
I know they don't get along, so that probably had to play a factor into it. Real quickly, before we let you run, though, you and Mike are getting together for that big show. I hear some rumors. I have Mongo Nation. They now follow me religiously because Mike came on our show.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. And you know Mike, he doesn't do many interviews.
Very few.
So a caller called in to the fan, and they go, oh, you're going on the radio in Philly. He goes, what are you talking about? And then he goes, goes, oh, yeah, I'm going on with Zach. So just how about that show that you guys are going to
I'm
be doing?
looking forward to it. I mean, I haven't thought about we haven't done a format yet. It's going to be weird, though, because you're doing a show in front of people, yet it's simulcast on radio and TV. So it's a little different than normal because you got to focus on the 5,900 who bought the seats more so than a guy listening on the radio in the middle of nowhere, and that's going to be an adjustment because you never had to do that. So that's something that's interesting. And do you do it current? We'll have to. I haven't thought about it as far as the actual show content. We'll do a good job with it when it comes. I'm looking forward. Got a lot of publicity for it. I'm looking forward to it.
Are you going to that Francesa Con? I heard there's some rumors
March
of you
12th.
going. You're definitely going.
It's before the NCAA tournament. I'm planning on going on March 12th. Yes.
All right, real quickly, Doggy, before we let you run, because I know you got to go, as Christopher Mad Dog Russo joins us, give us a prediction for the big game.
I haven't even thought about. I'll take the 6 points. I'm going to save that for Fridays. I don't know where to go. This is a weird game for me. My immediate thought on Monday, after the title games, was Carolina. I'm worried about the 6 points. I could see Denver going off in a storybook way. I will take Denver plus the 6.
Thanks so much, Doggy.
Zach, always a pleasure, pal.
Christopher Mad Dog Russo right there, WHIP Radio in Philadelphia, live at Radio Row. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back right after these short messages.